need something to drink.
Okay. You ever seen the cum box?
Yes, you showed me the cum box. The smell that the cum box must have inside of it. It makes me kind of like, I'm getting a little gaggy.
Did I tell you he tried to burn it?
You did. I think you showed me pictures and it just would not fucking ignite.
It wouldn't. I've seen worse, though.
Cum
jugs were worse.
Cum jugs? Where they keep it in a jug?
There were 2-liter bottles, and they'd been doing it for years. 2.5 bottles. It was so gross. It was bad. It was like, it looked like if you still touched them, the bottles would be lukewarm, even though clearly they wouldn't be.
Did he keep them cool or anything, or is it just like...
I don't know. I didn't ask that many questions.
You don't keep semen at room temperature, right?
Semen is a bad thing to keep at any temperature. It's a bad thing to keep, period.
It's definitely a bad thing to keep. It's best fresh.
Yeah. Like, you have 2 minutes tops before that's unacceptable to be around.
Yeah, just like...
It's a necessity. It
happens.
It's an inevitable thing. But if you let it stick around long enough, it starts to be like, okay, this is gross.
Yeah, it starts getting cold.
It's basically like snot, but comes out of your dick.
And
it's made of the same stuff. A lot of it. So
it's not nearly as
it's like dick phlegm.
Well, you just solidified us never getting blowjobs again.
Hugo and Jake, the Bible is jaded, and most of it taken, so get educated with Hugo and Jake. Pull up you and stop what you're doing, it's Bible reloaded time. They call it unaided, the theist will hate it, I'm talking to taken, but it's Hugo and Jake. So I'm with the show then, it's not candy coated, it's the Bible reloaded with Hugo and Jake, with Hugo and Jake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is the Bible Reloaded.
Woo.
So last time what happened was David got in some wars and he won, and then some other people were like, we're scared of David, and then they didn't fight him, and that's pretty much it. Also, David met a cripple, whose only distinguishing feature is that he is crippled.
Everywhere to David is like Poland to Hitler.
He promises he's not going to invade, and then he invades, and
Yes.
then UK is like, David, you said you wouldn't.
Yeah. And then he does it.
And then he does it anyway.
Except he fucks far more bitches.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
David has quantity. Hitler pooped on people, though, so...
Did Hitler poop on people?
Some people from, I guess his cousin or something who he had a sexual relationship with, which it was the 40s, so I guess that was okay, apparently claimed he was into poo.
Well, he was Austrian, which is close to German, which makes sense.
Yeah. Which came first, Hitler or the scat porn?
I would like to imagine he was the pioneer of scat porn.
That'd be great. See, this is why historians are much too focused on the wrong things. We need to know the origin of scat porn, people.
Yes,
Is Hitler involved?
We know it was... Hitler had two famous quotes. One was, kill all the Jews. The other one was, poop on my chest.
Yeah.
Or I'll poop on your chest. It depends.
What was Churchill's opinion of it? That's what we need to know.
Churchill, that was probably why he didn't attack it first. He's like, he likes poop play, though. No one who likes poop play can be evil, right?
Find me the primary sources, historians. Give me a picture of Churchill, but instead of a cigar,
he's holding a turd.
It's a turd. Our show is awful. Anyway,
why is Churchill holding a turd though? He smokes cigars. He just doesn't like scat play. Isn't about holding turds. It's about being.
I'm not into it. How would I know that?
I don't know.
I don't know what it's about.
I assume it's just about like pooping on things.
I guess.
And being like, yeah, this is dirty. We're not supposed to do this.
Lots of cats are into scat play. Anyway. Do we have any people still watching? Okay.
All right.
Good job. Today we're looking at David and Bathsheba, which is a story that's really, really fucked up, and it's going to be one of our better episodes.
This is like a soap opera.
I'm staking claim to this. This is going to be up there. This is our top 10.
This is a top 10?
This is a top 10 episode
Oh, we have hundreds of videos.
with
so-
Ryan Seacrest.
No, you ruined it.
How about Dunkelman?
Who's Dunkelman?
Oh, never mind. That went over your head. Anyways,
What the fuck is a Dunkelman?
just
Now
leave it in.
now
Someone will get it.
I need to know.
No, you don't need to know. Just 2 Samuel chapter 11. Here we go. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelite army. So other kings go off to war.
Do they just agree? Like, I get it. I think pretty much it's like a climate thing. Like,
It's a climate thing.
like
It
the
says-
weather's nice and it's springtime. We can go murder people. It's not like that bad because winter sucks.
It has to do with people farming
Yeah.
and climate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They destroyed the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah, but David remained in Jerusalem. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing.
Oh, this is getting steamy.
The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her.
Ooh.
That's what I do. When I see naked women on a roof somewhere, I invade their privacy and keep looking. It's like being a stalker, but with absolute power. David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "She is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah, the Hittite." Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her.
That was easy.
Yeah, when
Did they not like have like a conversation, or is she just like, "Welp"?
David is the Kim Jong-un of the Bible, so when people are brought to him, they kind of understand they just have to do what he says or they're going to die.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it didn't say like. There's the implication is she was brought to him, and then he just like pointed at the bed. And then she flayed out and laid there lifeless as he did his thing.
You don't give him enough
slowly
credit.
grunting.
You don't give him enough credit. He didn't have to point.
You know,
She knew. She knew. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanliness.
Ooh, that means she had her period.
She was just off her period because the Bible decided to tell us that, which seems irrelevant, but I mean, from what we find out later, she does get pregnant, so I'm assuming maybe they're implying ovulation. They're trying to say she was ovulating. Not that they would necessarily refer to it as that, but they might know a certain time after
Yeah,
someone is off their period, they tend to get pregnant more often.
maybe.
Then she went back home. The woman conceived and sent word to David saying, "I am pregnant."
Ooh, baby mama drama in the Bible.
So David sent this word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." And Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. Then David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." So Uriah left the palace, and a gift from the king was sent after him.
I know that it's like a wash your feet is kind of like a hospitality thing and like a kindness, but the way they phrase this is like, seriously, go fucking wash your feet.
They're
It's
stanky.
gross.
They're gross.
You're a desert person.
You're like a hobbit.
You need to take better care of yourself. This is why your wife cheats on you.
But Uriah slept at the entrance to the palace with all his master's servants and did not go down to his house.
Okay.
So there are marital problems apparently beforehand.
Yeah.
Or he just hates his wife, whatever. David was told Uriah did not go home, so he asked Uriah, "Haven't you just come from a military campaign? Why didn't you go home?" Uriah said to David, "The ark of Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my commander Joab and my lord's men are camped in the open country. How could I go to my house to eat and drink and make love to my wife? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing." Solidarity! They don't get none of that stank, so neither do I.
Oh, that's so...
I've never used the word stank to refer to vagina before. It feels weird, but I'm going to continue to do it indefinitely.
Henceforth, all vaginas shall be called either stanks or snatches.
Can it be the stank?
The stank.
The stank. This is a weird job.
That's nasty.
Then David said to him, "Stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back." So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. At David's invitation he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. But in the evening Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among his master's servants. He did not go home.
So what you're seeing is David's running interference right now. He banged Uriah's wife, and she is pregnant. He does not want Uriah to go home and see his wife pregnant after he's been off to war. So he's basically saying, "Hey, you should hang out here. I'm the king, man. Like, we can do crazy stuff." He's honey dicking him.
See, I was thinking maybe he wants Uriah to go and bang his wife early on in the pregnancy, so he thinks
He was
maybe
trying, but it's not working.
now it's taking too long, and
and now he's like, just hang out.
okay, makes sense. And I also just say Uriah, huge asshole. I mean, don't get me wrong, David's the bigger asshole, I'll say, but Uriah also an asshole in this case because he's like, I know I'm home from the military, but for solidarity, not gonna go see my loved ones. Like, imagine if someone came back from the Middle East. And they're like, I'm not going to go see my wife because the other people can't. Like, yeah, I get it, but, like, you're back. Please go see the people who care about you. You've crushed them with your life decisions. Verse 14. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it, he wrote, put Uriah out in the front where the fighting is fiercest, then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die.
So this is the most interference you can run to save your own ass.
He's killing him.
Yeah.
He's saying, send him to the front lines of battle, and then everyone else kind of back off and let him get killed.
Poor Uriah, man. All he did was get cheated on.
Yeah, bummer.
And also kind of be an asshole when he came home. But, yeah, so you can see the progression of David scheming in this. At first, he's like, hey, man, go fuck your wife. And he's like, let's just hang out here just, for 9 months or whatever it takes. And then he's like, why don't you go die?
And this is the guy God chose, after already making a mistake, by the way.
You know what's even better? It's kind of fucked up because he gives Uriah the letter, and I assume Uriah's not going to read the letter. So he gives the letter to the man he's going to send to kill with the letter. It's like a sociopathic, like, yeah, double, like fuck you twice.
So when Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at a place where he knew the strongest defenders were. Mm-hmm. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died.
No.
Yeah, whatever.
Success.
Joab sent David a full account of the battle. He instructed that messenger, when you have finished giving the king his account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up and he may ask you, why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know that they would shoot arrows from the wall? Who killed Abimelech, son of Jerub-Besheth? Didn't a woman drop an upper millstone onto him from the wall so that he died in Thebez? Why did you get so close to the wall? If he asks you this, then say to him, moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. So they're referencing an old story that we've covered chapters and chapters ago where someone was killed by a millstone being pushed on them from a wall. He's essentially just saying, why did you get so close to that wall, stupid? The messenger set out, and when he arrived, he told David everything Joab had sent him to say. The messenger said to David, the men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance of the city gate. Then the archers shot arrows at your servant from the wall, and some of the king's men died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead.
If I have to read the words, moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead one more time, I think I'm going to snap. Why do they sound like a shitty senior English student trying to fit in words like moreover. Vis-a-vis accordingly. To make them sound like smart or something. I hate that shit.
It's time for another version of the Bible where they get rid of that shit. Just a newer one's like, yo, what's up? Hittite dead, bitch. David told the messenger, say this to Joab. Don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. Press the attack against the city and destroy it. Say this to encourage Joab. So he's like, for one thing, I'm impressed Joab didn't catch on that this was a murder.
Yeah.
Because why else would you put someone on the front lines intentionally if not to kill them? 2, David's like, no, it's fine. Go encourage him because that dude died.
Oh.
David doesn't get empathy.
Not at all. It's because he's a sociopath.
When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord.
The thing David had done? You mean the adultery and the plotting to ruin a man's life and then murder him?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, that stuff.
It just displeased the Lord.
Displeased him. Not all the murder and stuff.
A guy caught the ark from falling, and he burned with anger and melted a guy. But David, the chosen one, ruined a man's life from the foundation of it, and then killed him. And it just is like, well, that wasn't nice.
Yeah, God's priorities are not in the right places.
He's got very interesting dislikes. Like, it's just a pet peeve of his when people touch gold boxes.
Yeah. Any box, really. It just so happens that there aren't a lot of those around, so the Ark is usually what gets discussed. But, like, you go to a jewelry store, you get a gold box, he's very upset with you. So the Lord is displeased with David, so what does he do? Does he smite him like others who've displeased him? Nah, he just sends him a messenger to tell him a parable. And that's what happens in 2 Samuel chapter 12. Nathan rebukes David. The Lord sent Nathan to David. When he came to him, he said, "There were 2 men in a certain town, one rich and the other poor." So Nathan shows up to David and immediately goes into this story.
And he's like, did you want to, like, a drink? Shh, tell a story!
But yeah, this is the first that I can think of, really what I would describe as a pure parable in the Bible.
I'd say so.
That even within the context of the story is an allegory trying to teach a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, you could... Obviously, we don't think any of the other stuff is historical, but it's presented as such, and I think this is the... I actually kind of like in the Bible when they do parables, because they tend to be very interesting in the points they're trying to make, and it's also because of the culture that the Hebrews had, where they weren't necessarily a scholarly group. It's always interesting to me when they can think abstractly like this and still make a point.
Yeah.
And while I know that the Hebrews weren't idiots necessarily, like, respective of other groups in their area, but I just think it's kind of interesting to have a window into culture like that, which is kind of why I like reading this book. So.
Parables, at least for me, tend to be the stories in the Bible that I don't disagree with, because usually the message is all right. It's
Prodigal
not terrible.
Son is a good one.
They're okay.
I like the New Testament parables a lot, for the most part. Not necessarily the love God shit.
Yeah. There were 2 men in a certain town, one rich and the other poor. The rich man had a very large number of sheep and cattle, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb he had bought. He raised it, and it grew up with him and his children. It shared his food, drank from his cup, and even slept in his arms. It was like a daughter to him.
This is getting sexy.
It concerns me that they said it was like a daughter
Yeah.
and not a son. And I get that sheep are female, but still, it makes me think there was something sexual going on.
I hope not.
I like that I say I actually like the parables and immediately put a bestiality joke in it. Like, like this is actually solid, like, as far as stories go and fables.
Yeah.
But nope, can't go 10 seconds without a sheep dicking. My life. Now a traveler came to the rich man, but the rich man refrained from taking one of his own sheep or cattle to prepare a meal for the traveler who had come to him. Instead, he took the ewe lamb that belonged to the poor man and prepared it for the one who had come to him.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. David burned with anger against this man and said to Nathan, "As surely as the Lord lives, the man who did this must die. He must pay for the lamb 4 times over because he did no such thing and had no pity."
Dude, David, it's just a story, man. Like,
David has no self-reflection either. He has no way of looking onto himself with any sort of objectivity.
Nope.
He's just like, oh, everything outside of me angers me so much.
This is the point in the soap opera where it zooms in on his face, then David's turned away, and it's like a deep focus shot.
Then Nathan said to David, "You are the man. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you from the head of Saul. I gave your master's house to you, and your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all Israel and Judah, and if all of this had been too little, I would have given you even more." So, 1, kudos to me for that reading. That was pretty great. 2, God's like, "Hey, I already killed a dude for you and gave him all the stuff. Was my murder not enough? You have to murder on your own? Sans God? No. Only God murders are acceptable for property transactions." Why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Amorites. Now therefore the sword will never depart from your house, because you despised me and took the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your own. This is what the Lord says. Out of your own household I am going to bring calamity on you. Before your very eyes I will take your wives and give them to one who is close to you, and he will sleep with your wives in broad daylight. You did it in secret, but I will do things in broad daylight before all Israel. God's saying, you fucked with the wrong deity, David. Here's what's gonna happen. Your wives, not gonna be your wives anymore. Someone close to you, gonna take them. They're gonna have sex with them, and guess what? Everyone's gonna know about it.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a weird punishment. I like that the wives have no say in this either. It's just like, hey, you're an object to be used in this story.
They're
Don't
basically
worry
just
about
like walking fleshlights.
That'd be convenient.
If fleshlights walked around,
Like, hey,
it'd be like
come here, flashlight.
It'd be like that Mad TV skit, Sex Toy Story.
Yeah, be like that. But
I don't think fleshlights were a thing back then.
no, they were not. Those were invented fairly recently.
Always thinking about the ladies.
Watched a video recently where
Oh God.
it was on Reddit. It was the woman who the fleshlight is modeled after went to the factory to go and see it, and fleshlight factories, less jovial place to work than I thought they would be. It's a factory in Spain, and it looks like a factory in Spain.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's not like awful or anything.
I thought
It's just-
fleshlights were like you could get different ones.
you can, but the standard fleshlight vulva, whatever you want to call it, is modeled after this.
Vag mold.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ones, but she's the generic one, I think.
Is she worth it? Like, does she have a famous vagina?
She's a porn star, I think.
Is she?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's weird that you can be a porn star. What a weird name. Can we call you what you are? You're a video prostitute. You are paid to have sex on film. Like, I'm not making a moral judgment. I don't care. I watch porn now and again, but
Yeah.
you're not a star. No one can be called a star with a dick in your ass. Verse 13. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. Like, good job, David.
Thanks.
Nathan replied, The Lord has taken away your sin, and you are not going to die. But by doing this you have shown utter contempt for the Lord, for the son born to you will die.
Oh.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because for anyone who, as far as pro-life, pro-choice, I think there's valid points on both sides, but for those on the pro-life side who like to use the Bible as reference for why they are pro-life, this is a story in which God takes a baby and kills it because its father had an affair.
Yeah.
So you can't say babies are innocent and God wants all babies to live, because here's an instance where he is literally saying, you fucked up, David, I'm gonna kill your baby right after it's born.
And it's not just some guy, it's David, a hero of the Bible, which means that your baby means even less to him. and for the record, like, people like Hitchens was pro-life.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I disagree with him, but at least he
too.
has points outside of God.
Yeah.
In fact, none of his points were God. He has legitimate reasons, and I can understand.
I think that's a good argument to have. I think the abortion argument is an interesting one.
Yeah, because I find myself questioning, when I think that line is, but at the end of the day, I don't have a uterus, so I don't.
Right, which is why I have a hard time speaking on it.
Yeah,
in any sort of hard fashion. Like, I can't take a hard stance on it because I'll never have to go through it.
Yeah, like, empathy goes so far, and I'm certainly empathetic, but, like, there's only so far that can take you before it's so outside your frame of reference you can't make an opinion that is valuable. After Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, and he became ill. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the nights lying in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of the household stood beside him and to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the 7th day the child died. David's attendants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they thought, while the child was still living, he wouldn't listen to us when we spoke to him. How can we now tell him that the child is dead? He may do something desperate.
Yeah.
That's when you walk by his room and go, hey, David, your child's dead, and you run. Because nothing David has ever done has been a tempered response.
Drive-by bad news. And to be fair, this is probably one of the few times where I'd be like, you know what? Go ahead and react however you feel fit. But he's so crazy that I'm scared to.
David noticed that his attendants were whispering amongst themselves, and he realized the child was dead. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied. He is dead. Then David got up from the ground after he had washed, put on lotions, and changed his clothes. He went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went to his own house, and at his request they served him food, and he ate. Taking this way better than he's ever taken anything. Also, he's like, God killed my kid. First thing I better do. Go pray to God.
Yeah, worship him.
His attendants asked him, Why are you acting this way? While the child was alive, you fasted and wept, but now the child is dead, you get up and eat? He replied, While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. I thought, who knows, the Lord may be gracious to me and let the child live. Nah. But now that he is dead, why should I go on fasting? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me.
This is an interesting passage because I think this is one of the first times they directly reference
An afterlife?
an afterlife or a thought of an afterlife.
Yeah.
And while we do know the Hebrews' beliefs on that, it's not really outlined that much in
The Bible, at least.
Yeah, so much. So it's just interesting to get kind of they had it was very close to a Hades thing. We talked about it before. It was called Sheol. It's very similar to Hades, where it's just kind of like a meh place at the end.
Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba, and he went to her and made love to her. Nothing helps me get over my dead kid like a good old dicking. Like, you think she was, like, weeping and ceaselessly, and David was like, let me just slip in here for a second. Let me just, yep, there you go. She slowly cried louder and louder as it happened. That's depressing.
That's awful.
My mind is a sad place to live.
That's a grief boner.
She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. So 9 months later, after that grief dicking, they had a kid. Solomon, who becomes King Solomon, whose name you should recognize if you're not dumb. The Lord loved him, and because the Lord loved him, he sent word through Nathan the prophet to name him Jedediah.
Because I'm the Lord, you name him whatever the fuck I want.
They don't name him Jedediah.
They don't.
The Lord just calls him that because the Lord is fucking crazy. Imagine if you had a friend and you were like, hey, like, Jake, imagine I have a kid, which would be the worst thing ever because you know my feelings about kids. But imagine I had a kid and you came over and I was like, his name's Jack.
And then I was like, Jedediah.
And I'm like, no, you must have misheard me, Jake. His name is Jack.
It's clearly Jedediah.
And then for the rest of his life, Jake called Jack Jedediah.
I probably would.
That'd be fucking hilarious, but then again, you're not
Yeah.
God, so
I might be.
God's fucking crazy.
This could be a test. It's all a test. Jedediah, by the way, means loved by the Lord.
If you care. Meanwhile, Joab fought against Rubah, the Ammonites, and captured the royal citadel. That sounds very important for a Middle Eastern city of the time. Joab then sent messengers to David saying, I have fought against Rabbah and taken its water supply. Now muster the rest of the troops and besiege the city and capture it. Otherwise, I will take the city and it will be named after me.
Okay.
Ballsy. So David mustered the entire army and went to Rabbah and attacked and captured it. David took the crown from their king's head and it was placed on his own head. It weighed a talent of gold.
That's roughly 75 pounds.
That's unlikely.
That's such a cumbersome helmet.
If you tried to put 75 pounds on your head, it would break your neck.
It wouldn't break it, but it certainly wouldn't be happy.
Your neck would be fucked. And it was set with precious stones. David took a great quantity of plunder from the city and brought it out to the people who were there, consigning them to labor with saws and with iron picks and axes, and he made them work at brick-making. David did this to all the Ammonite towns. Then he and his entire army returned to Jerusalem. What? So David's like, man, shit's fucked up. Baby got killed by God. Now I have a new baby. Everything's good. Let's go enslave some more people. Cool.
It's so weird, though.
Yeah. We keep saying slavery in regard to this. Let's call it serfdom. It's similar to serfdom.
Yeah, but it's like forced. Like really hard serfdom.
It's like serfdom where
it's borderline slavery. It's like slavery. It's like diet slavery.
There you go.
Like slavery 10.
Slavery 0.
Yeah.
No, slavery 10. There's some calories.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, that's it, though.
So, thanks, everyone. I guess that's enough for this episode. Next week, some good old-fashioned incest, if you're into that.
Well, sort of. You'll see.
If you want to, you can always follow us on Twitter, at Bible Reloaded.
You can follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded.
You can always donate to our Patreon.
That's wonderful.
You can always go ahead and subscribe. There's a button right there if you haven't already, though I'd be impressed if you made it through this whole video and didn't subscribe. We're like a tightrope. Either you're really good and you're going all the way and you're already subscribed, or you get to the comments earlier and you immediately click away and block us. There's no middle ground.
Yeah.
There are no moderate people who watch this.
No, like if you can handle a discussion about a cum box, I think you're in it for the long haul.
Anyways, thanks everyone. I guess that's it. Until next time, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this was the Bible Reloaded.
You said that weird, so I don't like it.
And this has been the Bible Reloaded.
And next week, Hugo and I start separate cum buckets. and we're gonna race to finish them.
My volume is out of control.
Yeah, but my frequency is like just so good. It's just only a little, but it's so much all the time.